How does someone so vibrant, so full of life, end up in such a tragic and unimaginable way? Kristina Jaksimovic, a former Miss Switzerland finalist, was the kind of person who lit up every room she walked into. She was loved by her family, cherished by friends, and admired by her community. With her radiant smile and graceful presence, Kristina seemed to have it all: a loving husband, 2 beautiful children, and a cozy home in the quiet streets of Benningen, Switzerland. But behind the doors of that very home, something much darker was brewing. Earlier this year, Kristina's life came to a violent and tragic end, leaving everyone who knew her in shock. Authorities made a chilling discovery in her home, one that would haunt them forever. The 38-year-old's body had been found horrifically dismembered, while her children were nearby, oblivious to the horror unfolding in the next room. How could this have happened? Who would commit such an unthinkable act against someone so beloved? As the investigation unfolded, it revealed a tale of jealousy, control, and betrayal that no one could have predicted. Welcome to New Crime by Bad Things. Join us as we uncover the chilling story of Kristina Jaksimovic, a former Miss Switzerland finalist whose life was violently ended in the most unimaginable way. Kristina Jaksimovic was more than just a pretty face. Born in Benningen, Switzerland, with Serbian roots, Kristina quickly rose in the modeling world. She first gained attention when she won the Miss Northwest Switzerland title in 2003, and just a few years later, she made it to the finals of the Miss Switzerland competition in 2008. Her talent and charisma made her a rising star, and she didn't stop there. Kristina didn't just stick to modeling. She worked full-time in IT recruitment and also made a name for herself as a catwalk coach, training others to build confidence and perfect their presence. Her Instagram account, @catwalkcoach, had over 3,500 followers who admired her work and passion. One of her biggest achievements was coaching Dominique Rinderknecht, who went on to win the Miss Universe title in 2013. Kristina was living her dreams, both professionally and personally. And in 2017, she finally decided to start a family. Kristina married Thomas, who has only been identified by his first name in the media. Together, they had 2 daughters and lived in Benningen, a quiet town near Basel, Switzerland, close to the French and German borders. Their home was in a well-off neighborhood, and from the outside, everything seemed perfect. They were the picture of a happy family. But behind the scenes, things were not as they appeared. Friends and loved ones noticed cracks in Kristina and Thomas's relationship. A close friend revealed that their marriage had been troubled for months, and that there had even been reports of domestic violence. Police had reportedly been called to their home before, hinting that all was not well between the couple. And so, Kristina's life was far from the ideal that her social media portrayed. Just 4 weeks before her heartbreaking death, Kristina gave her followers a peek into what looked like a perfect romantic getaway with Thomas. She shared joyful photos of them against a breathtaking snowy backdrop from their swanky hotel overlooking Lake Lucerne. The pictures radiated love and happiness, leaving no clue about the tragedy that was about to strike. Kristina Jaksimovic's life took a tragic turn on February 13, just a day before Valentine's Day. Her body was found in her home in Benningen, Switzerland, leaving friends and family in shock. Reports revealed that a third party discovered her lifeless body chopped into pieces and her head dismembered. The heartbreak of a mother of 2, who once radiated joy and hope, now marked a chilling chapter in her story. Since then, an investigation has been launched by Swiss police into her death. Right from the start, investigators knew this was not just a simple murder. Kristina had been strangled, and the details that followed were horrifying. The crime scene was unlike anything the police had ever seen. After killing Christina, the suspect dismembered her body using several tools, including a knife, garden shears, and even a jigsaw. But the brutality didn't stop there. The suspect went on to use a hand blender to grind parts of Christina's remains. Court documents later revealed that Christina's body was placed in a chemical solution to dissolve it, and was also pureed by a hand blender. It was a chilling scene that left even the most seasoned detectives stunned. After Christina Joksimovic's body was found, her husband Thomas was quickly arrested. Since there were only 4 people in the house, Christina, her 2 daughters, and him, investigators needed to hear his side of the story. Right from the start, his explanations were strange and didn't match up. Initially, Thomas claimed he discovered Christina dead back in January. He said he panicked and chose to dismember her body in the laundry room instead of calling for help. However, crime scene experts quickly noted that his story didn't make sense. Just a month later, Thomas shifted his narrative. This time, he admitted to killing Christina, but said it was self-defense. He claimed she attacked him with the knife before, and he acted out of fear for his life. This change raised more questions. How could someone go from a bizarre confession to a story of self-defense? But things got more clear when an autopsy report revealed troubling details about what happened to Christina's body after her death. The report stated that Thomas allegedly used a jigsaw and garden shears to dismember Christina. And when that wasn't enough, he then chopped up her remains and even put them in a blender. It's chilling to think that he pureed her remains before attempting to dissolve them in a chemical solution. This information didn't line up at all with Thomas's story of self-defense. Investigators were left piecing together a puzzle tale that only deepened the mystery surrounding Christina's tragic death. Speaking of which, many people, including friends and witnesses, painted a very different picture of Thomas. They described a man with a history of violence, someone who had often been seen physically abusing Christina. Witnesses also recalled disturbing incidents where Thomas violently shoved Christina against a wall, holding her by the neck. He had allegedly strangled her on more than one occasion. So it was clear to those who knew the couple that Thomas was not the victim he claimed to be. Now, it's important to note that Christina and Thomas had 2 children together. Since the tragic incident, local authorities have been taking care of the kids to ensure their safety. Meanwhile, Thomas remained in custody, as the public prosecutor's office back in March had yet to file charges against him. During the court hearings, more shocking details about Christina's murder and Thomas's state of mind emerged. Officials described him as having a noticeably high level of criminal energy and showing a cold-blooded attitude towards his actions. They also noted signs of mental illness, though it wasn't clear how this would impact the case. Legal experts say that the way Christina died speaks volumes about the nature of the crime. Thomas has been described as having sadistic sociopathic traits, with concrete indications of a mental illness, according to investigators. They noted his cold, calculated behavior after the crime, highlighting his lack of empathy and what they called an extremely high level of criminal energy. Attorney Jennifer Roman, who has been following the case closely, pointed out that strangulation is a very personal and intimate way to kill someone. It's not quick or detached, like shooting or stabbing. It takes time and effort, which makes it even more disturbing. The fact that Thomas chose to strangle Christina rather than use another method suggests a deep level of anger and intent towards her. For Christina, this was not a quick end. This type of killing often points to rage and a personal connection. Not just that, Attorney Roman also explained that this type of prolonged violence complicates any claims of mental illness. And then Thomas's actions after the murder, cutting up Christina's body, blending her remains, and attempting to dissolve them, all suggest a level of planning and awareness that only a sane person could do. Roman noted that such behavior undermines any defense that Thomas might have been acting in a moment of temporary insanity. Each step he took required time, effort, and a clear, albeit twisted, plan. So, defending such actions under the claim of insanity is extremely rare, and Thomas's case doesn't fit the typical patterns. The time and effort involved in Christina's death and the attempts to cover it up point to someone who was fully aware of what he was doing. Christina was much more than just a beauty queen. She was a mother of two and a friend to many. Her tragic death has left a hole in the lives of everyone who knew her. Friends and former colleagues have been outspoken in their grief. Nadine Vincennes, Miss Switzerland 2002, was close to Christina and said she was heartbroken by the news. "Never in my life would I have thought that something like this would happen," she told the Swiss news outlet nau.ch. Nadine also left a heartfelt comment under Christina's last social media post, expressing her deep sadness and the memories they shared. Christina's friends from the Swiss modeling world have all spoken out, expressing shock and heartbreak. Dominique Rinderknecht, who is another former Miss Switzerland, had trained with Christina before her Miss Universe competition in 2013. She shared her sadness, recalling how much Christina had helped her in her journey. "It is very, very sad and shocking what has happened," Dominique said, adding how sorry she felt for Christina's children. Christina's kindness and generosity left a lasting impact on everyone she met. Her work with Dominique wasn't just a professional relationship. They bonded and became friends. Their training sessions even went viral, attracting hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. Andrea Brocci, another model who crossed paths with Christina, echoed these sentiments. She recently saw Christina and described her as kind, intelligent, and great, unable to understand how someone so good-hearted could meet such a tragic end. Christina's kindness was her defining trait, and it's what everyone remembers her for. She was the kind of person who left a positive mark on everyone's life. She helped, she supported, and she always did it with a smile. The shockwaves from Christina's death extend far beyond just her friends. Frida Hodel, the Swiss bachelorette in 2015, also paid tribute, saying Christina will never be forgotten. It's clear that Christina was loved by many, and her absence is felt deeply. Even Ellie Simic, another bachelorette star from 2017, reached out, leaving a touching comment on Christina's last Instagram post. The messages poured in, each one a testament to the bright, kind, and loving person Christina was. The case has gripped Switzerland, not just because of its shocking brutality, but because of the deep sense of loss felt by so many who knew and loved Christina. Each detail that comes to light reveals a darker side of Thomas, someone whose actions were driven by violence and a complete lack of empathy. The court has been clear in its assessment of him, pointing out his sadistic tendencies and dangerous nature. The federal court in Lausanne recently denied Thomas's appeal to be released from custody. The case has become a massive scandal in Switzerland, with every new piece of evidence making it more disturbing. Although the case is still going on, we are hopeful that justice will soon be served. In the end, it's just a reminder that sometimes the people closest to us can be the most dangerous. What seemed like a perfect life from the outside was hiding a terrible secret. Christina's story reminds us how important it is to speak up about domestic violence and recognize the signs before it's too late. As the trial continues, the hope is that justice will be served for Christina and her memory will continue to live on in the hearts of those who knew her. What do you believe should be the outcome of this case? And what kind of sentence do you think Thomas deserves? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more cases. See you in the next video.